In the Shaka Tank, we gather success stories, how they started, what they learned, their faithful journey, and the lifelong principles they carry. War scars and war stories, we've been through it all. Welcome to the Shaka Tank. All right, so today, we got Pono, we got Chad, and a special guest, the homie Derrick's in the house. What's going on, Derrick?
Hey,
damn, what a last name, man. In the house?
Can I?
In the house.
Derrick in the house.
Derrick in the house.
Wait, hey, Daniel Kim gets to do whatever he wants. You know what I'm saying? I got a new last name. It's not even my government.
Yeah,
Derrick Castro, but I'll take in the house.
Hey, they were just kind
Pleasure.
of. So what's it? Chamorro.
So all right, we'll get into.
So Danny doesn't know what Chamorro is.
I don't know what Chamorro is.
Which is wild.
And he's in Hawaii, but that's all right.
I was like,
that's all right.
what's tomorrow? I was like, tomorrow. And like, no, tomorrow. I'm like,
So
all right.
I'm a Hapa, so
Okay.
Hapa, half Korean from my mom's side, and then half.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Hey, annyeonghaseyo.
Yeah.
To all my Koreans out there, and then Hafa de Toramalek to all of my Guamanians. I'm born in Guam. From my dad's side, he's a native, born on the Air Force Base out there, and so those people,
Yeah.
all right, are called Chamorros, and that's also their dialect and how they talk. So,
Okay.
So like native to Guam.
native
they're
to
Chamorro.
Guam. So
Got
if
it,
you are
got
a
it.
native from Guam, and you're called a Chamorro.
Got it.
There's a lot of Chamorros on this side. They got the Hawaii Guam Club. There's a shout out to James Cruz and whatnot. Helped me out when we first moved here. He actually lived in Arizona, which is part of my story, but that's where we were at. But there's a big Chamorro community out
Yeah,
here.
man, it's the island life.
Yeah, you know it.
What's the difference between Chamorro and I've heard like Guamanian? Like
I mean, it both means the same thing. Like
Oh, okay.
Guamanian, like Japan, Japanese. Chamorro is more of the, I would say, not only the dialect, but that's.
It's like the culture, or it's kind of like the representation of
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Guamanians.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
Chamorros.
Yeah, exactly.
Chamorro sounds so much cooler. Anyways.
Oh, for sure.
But
Yeah.
Danny's first time learning about Chamorro.
Yeah, I thought it was a
so-
food. I thought it was like, yo, I want to order the tomorrow.
Trust me,
You know what I mean?
being a military brat. So this is kind of like part of my story is, you move around everywhere. So we moved around all of the Far East. So born in Guam, Korea, Japan. We lived in Hawaii
Okay.
on base too and whatnot.
Wow.
But you have a pitch down when people, because on base there's a lot of different
Right.
cultures, but white people too. And when I say half Korean, okay, they kind of get Korea. Guamanian, they're like Guatemala, Guadalupe, what? Back it up. So, yeah, I always say the island from born on the island of Guam, Guamanian, but we're called Chamorro.
So just to make me
That's cool.
feel better, how many people when you meet them understand or they know what tomorrow is?
Ooh, very rare. Like,
See?
So right now we're taking this opportunity to educate people.
Yeah.
Right?
In his defense,
Daniel's wonderful.
but
I thought it was a
Daniel,
churro and a
Churro.
and a
Churros are great. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not mad.
I'm
Daniel,
just saying,
did you not eat breakfast this
this
morning?
is the first time.
Daniel,
I
my brother,
heard
you've been
this
on the
word.
island for like 3.5 years. I'm
Exactly.
not
My
mad.
bad, my
I'm
bad,
just
bro.
a little disappointed.
Hey, but I'm learning. I
No,
knew the Korean side, but yeah,
it is rare, especially in the mainland. So it's just like when you're native from Hawaii and you go to the mainland and you're going to like Portland or Oregon or whatnot.
Yeah.
And they're also Hawaiian or Polynesian or Tongan or whatnot. You're like, oh, you immediately latch on
Yeah.
because they get it.
Yeah.
So
for
yeah,
sure.
so there's a
Get it.
big community out there in Arizona.
Yeah.
Maybe I say big community because it's more magnified
Yeah.
when they're out there. So there's
Right,
a lot
right.
of pockets out there.
Yo, tell me more about that. So, you live in Hawaii, right? Originally from Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moved all around.
Mhm.
My dad retired. Shout out Hafa de bro, my cello. He's in Cali right now, but living in Arizona with my mom. When you retire from the military, you're usually just stuck where you're retired. So my dad retired from the military in the Air Force in Arizona. And so that was, that was when I was like maybe 12 or 13. So when people say, where are you from? It's so hard because like, yes, I was born in Guam, but we moved around. Do you call somewhere that you just been there the longest your home? Which is Arizona, because retired there and I went to school there,
True.
went to high school there, went to brief moment in college and started my businesses there, my first businesses there, and then again moved. So yes, started in Arizona, met my wife, my beautiful wife out there, Angela, and she's a Hapa too. So military background, half Filipino, half white, German, whatnot.
Yeah,
Her dad also was in the military.
Gotcha.
So we have that similar background. Grew up similar ways, just like similar here on the island of the aunties, the uncles, and you know. So yeah, we got married, and you know, I was just a hustler, bro. Like on base. I guess I'm kind of getting into, you know, even business and
Right.
Yeah, we'd love
I grew
to
up-
hear your story of like how you got started. I know this is Chad's first time meeting you, so I
Yeah.
mean, this is like, you know, Chad, like Derrick linked up. I was like, yo, like-minded, on the wavelength. By the way, part of Inspire Collective. This episode is brought to you by Inspire Collective.
Yes.
So shout out
Shout
Inspire
outs.
Collective.
I wouldn't be here without. I mean, that's a story and a trip. So I just moved. They kind of know my story, but I just moved here January 6th with my wife. My wife and I from Dana Point, California. We lived there for 3.5 years because we moved there from Arizona with our little dog, and just picked up and came through. Now we have some. She has her aunt here. We have some locals, our friends that are locals here. But we went to Cali to start a new life with a family. We don't have a family yet, right? God willing, in the future. But wanted to be by the beach. I'm an islander. I need to be by the beach. I need that vibe.
I need that sun on my skin.
Bro,
Come on now.
AZ, it's 105 or 109 right now. So yeah, you're roasting. You're hot.
Jeez.
But they say it's a dry heat, but no, it's still hot. So we went to Cali, and you know, we were on vacay out here and saw our friends, and our friends were like, dude, you should just come out here. What do you got to lose? Just go back if you don't like it. Like, yeah, cool. But my wife was like, yeah, what is holding us back? We'll go back home. Why not? I'm like, that's a good question. Damn. So we just got out of our lease, sold more stuff, didn't bring nothing with us but 8 bags, and ended up here January 6th. So
Wow.
I have a business with 2 of my brothers. One's my biological brother, my other brother, spiritual brother, and business partner. Thankfully, we were able to build a company, a marketing company, remote before COVID, to allow us to do something like this.
That's awesome.
To be able to allow not only our
Work from
people-
home. You can be wherever you want and still
Right,
still,
right.
still manage.
Yeah. Now before we didn't. Before it was just to be lean, because we came in, we're a brand new company, startup, and this is pre-COVID, where
Right.
agencies in Arizona. There's a lot of big agencies out there that we know. We're friends with. My brother and Eric. So it's Dale is my brother.
What part of
Eric.
Arizona?
Just west of Phoenix. Well, Phoenix, but west of Phoenix is where I used to live.
Okay,
So
okay.
that was the west side too. So like the west side out here, that was like the west side in Arizona.
Wow.
You know, get a lot more land, a lot more house. But we built that just so that we could be lean, be flexible. My brother had kids at that time. Now Eric has kids. We don't want to have an office overhead, whatnot. And you know, we always got looked down a little bit, just a little bit. We always had a chip on our shoulder because other agencies are when I was like, that's cute. That's cute that you're remote, but it worked out. It worked out because unfortunately COVID happened.
Right.
We didn't have to build that infrastructure. We already built a culture around that. Companies are still struggling with that right now.
So Derrick, one cool thing about your story that I dug into was, you know, a lot of local entrepreneurs, they would love to do these type of things, right? And the thing is, we're here in Hawaii. Obviously, location-wise, it's hard to go have a meeting in Arizona or California, but you're literally operating your digital agency, your marketing company from Hawaii. Yeah. So could you maybe like share how you guys got started and like how it works now, like, you know, and kind of like maybe a little bit of your roadmap of like how you got that thing to get off the ground and be successful from zero?
Well, can we get the name of the company?
Oh, Overlap.
Okay.
Overlap. Now, overlapinteractive.com. You can check us out there. You can see our vibe. You can see our team. You can kind of see our swag.
Yeah.
Overlap. I like that. I can sense there's a story behind that. That
there
name.
is.
Let's get
There
into it.
is. And so we'll start with that. Dell and Eric first started this company. So I got to give all of the flowers to them. They've been in the industry forever. So you got the creative. He's our chief creative and strategy officer. And then you got like one of the top engineers and developers in Arizona. Both of them, they lived and breathed their craft from high school. So Eric, our CTO, he already had a job offer from in high school for a competition in the development world. I don't know exactly what it was, but he got hired in high school
Wow.
already. Dale,
That's impressive.
incredible artist. Dude, you guys would vibe with him. Daniel, I know you will, and your team. The coolest, charismatic, and creative person that I know. And yeah, I'm biased for my brother, but check him out. He's dope. So you have these two guys that's been in the agency before the real critical mass of the internet, when HTML just first came out. I don't know if you remember Flash.
Yeah.
Okay. Flash
Yeah.
Dale was my brother.
Man,
and
you
his-
went old school right now. All the websites
Bro.
were on Flash, and then it started crashing on every browser. Yeah. You're giving away your age real quick, dude.
I
but
saw that. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
seeing
Back with
that.
floppy disks and
Right. I saw on the outside, because I was doing my own thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna follow my brother because my dad, doing the best he can, was like, "Your brother's doing good. He's
Yeah.
valedictorian at the Art Institute of Phoenix. He's got great job. He's a creative. Going to that direction. Just follow him." And I was like, "Cool." But I was already hustling, somewhat legal on the streets. I was, I was doing door to door. I built a door-to-door team with the Arizona Republic newspapers. Gen Ys, you may not even understand, but there was marketing dollars for the newspaper back then, pre-internet. But I was watching my brother make these moves. I was hustling. I was always around sales and marketing. So I had like 2 vans, and I was always in a leadership role based on performance for sales and marketing. So anyways, I see this fast forward. They're doing their career. They wanted to do their own thing, and they built a company called Overlap Interactive because they were in the agency world. They were on the client side as well, and they just didn't like the culture that was around. Back then, I mean, it's not like then. There was a lot of just a bunch of white guys that had a lot of money, and they had the agencies, and they just run their thing.
Yep.
For us, we didn't see a lot of that in Arizona, right?
Right.
I didn't. I've tried to go that corporate route before hustling, and I just didn't fit, And I was really driven. I was all about performance. I would bet on myself always. So
I love that attitude, by the way.
Yeah.
I
Bet
mean,
on yourself. You know what I mean?
Have to. And I got that from my dad because he said after the military, he would never go into an institution like that again. Dude, we've done catering businesses. We've contracted with the base.
Wow.
He's like, he will never go back to that after he retires. So we built so many businesses, right?
Would you say that you get your entrepreneur spirit from your dad?
Oh, for sure. For sure. This dude is a straight hustler. Hard worker.
The Chamorro, right?
The Chamorro.
Chamorro.
So
Man, I'm
close.
trying,
So
dude.
close.
Dude, by the end of this
Not-
podcast, we're
not
gonna do
Starbucks
it.
drink.
I'll get it.
Not tomorrow, but yeah, Chamorro. That's
Chamorro.
Chamorro. And I
Chamorro.
mean,
All right.
very similar to the island, right? You gotta crawl, just like your episode.
Oh, yeah.
When I
Oh, yeah.
you gotta crawl out the mud. You gotta.
Yep.
It's only you, so ain't nobody gonna give you nothing.
Yeah.
You just gotta go out there and get it, right? And so,
One of my buddies, this guy Joe, he has this thing called the immigrant hustle. You know what I mean? It's because like the immigrant is not comfortable. You had to move, and then you had to survive, and like there's like something that happens in that toiling. You know what I'm saying? So kind of,
gosh,
so you that's kind of like
True,
what you're explaining about your pops a little bit, right? Is like,
oh yeah.
yeah.
This dude, I'll tell you a little snippet and I'll fast forward because you just let me know if I'm going too long. But my dad came out. This is a strict, traditional, old school, just like probably your dad's, right? Coming out of the military, my mom, her craft was she's a beautician. She is killer with her hands. Built a beauty salon for her. Couldn't handle all of the clients because everybody wanted to come to her. Couldn't hold any other people to hire to fill booths because they weren't that great. He went and got his cosmetology license.
What?
This is an old dude from Agate. You want to scrap or whatever, like you're down, military guy. But he saw the opportunity. He's like,
That's
So Pop
crazy.
started cutting hair.
That's
Bro,
insane.
I'm talking about highlight. You want highlights too? I got you, bro.
Wow.
Prove, bro. I gotta see it.
It was pretty dope. He even did like permanent makeup and so tattattoo. Like there's a different market, a little bit older,
Like
older
microblading?
women
For
market,
sure.
You know,
especially older
'Cause
Asian
he
women.
saw-
Yeah.
he saw money.
Yeah.
So
The
he was like,
eyebrows and-
they were the top salon in Sun City West. It's like an older school type of town in Arizona for like 3 years straight.
Wow.
Like, back then, 6-digit income, whatnot.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's where I got it from.
Yeah.
Right. So I could not see it anything else. Not that that's wrong at all. Like being an employee going for a corporation, but I just knew like I just got way more to give. I still do even now.
Yeah.
Even being 40 and having a company overlap with my brothers, like, dude, I feel like I'm just learning still. Coming to this island, that's a whole nother chapter. So there was a time where I got kind of burnt out of the Arizona Republic. I even went into the auto glass business, pretty synonymous, right? Sales, marketing, product.
Yeah.
I mean, you could really sell anything. I could sell anything. And I kind of got burnt out. That was after recession. went into the corporate world. I was like, okay, let's give this a shot. I'm burned out. They're going to give me a chance, and they're going to give me a pay with some commission and benefits. All right. And I did that. I worked for Verizon as a business executive. I had a territory in Arizona and learned about companies, but technology, right? So GPS and all of that. So a lot more than just selling cell phones. So I learned from the street, dealing with people and how to manage and lead and push sales. And then I learned in the corporate world how they work and how they roll and the reporting, kind of like the politics and then the C-levels, and then how to get information from companies to understand how could I help them, right? Like, what is your goal? What are the gaps? What do I have?
Real quick though, that's like sales 101 though, right? Because a lot of people, they think sales is just like, hey, knocking on doors and being annoying, right? Like, I need a break. I got to break through and get a lead. But I love what you said, because that's something that I experienced too as I started developing, because I had an agency. And I realized, yes, there is a season where you got to knock on as many doors and you're literally cold calling and you're trying to hit up as many people and you're getting, it's a percentage game. Yeah. But then there gets to a point where you start solving people's problems.
Yep, 100%.
And like you start looking at it with a little different of a lens. You're not like, hey, I'm just trying to sell you this thing in this box, right? It's just, this is what I'm gonna force feed this thing to you. I think the best sales is when you start understanding the problem of your customer and you start reverse engineering it and saying, hey, this is how our solution could fit you. And if it's not a solution, we're good to walk. It's okay. Maybe it's not the right fit. But is that kind of what you were saying when you started going to C-suite?
Yeah, and you learn that, right? And you're just like anything that you learn, or whatever you're doing, you just learn there's levels. It's that consultative approach, right? It's like literally, here's a gap. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I have that can help you get to where you're going and actually fulfill that gap or solve that problem. Are we a fit? You know, so there's the solution, and then there's also, of course, relationship. And relationship
to me is everything in sales.
You know that.
And not even just sales, and everything.
And everything in life.
Relationship is everything in life.
Outside of even money and monetizing it, just for the soul.
Right.
Your spirituality, friendships, family, which is even harder, but relationships is everything. And then the solution, So I totally agree. And I've been there, though, in the beginning. It was just like pounding. The boiler room, I don't know if you've seen the boiler room.
Yeah.
Or, So there was a time where I learned, excuse me. Whoa, gonna have to cut that out.
Yeah.
Hey, I took the tail. I'm good.
Now, hey, so with that too, then, like, as far as sales goes, what do you think is so if I was to say, because I'm sure a lot of people in Hawaii, right, would love to pick your brain on that, right? Because you've had success in sales, like, right? So just so people know, like, how much it's just, you could say in the hundreds of thousands, or has it been in the millions of revenue that you've generated?
Millions.
Okay, millions. Okay, millions. So just want to make sure that that's clear. So Derrick has generated millions in sales, right? What do you think? Because I do think you can be an authority on sales. Like, that's something that you could talk about here on the Shaka Tank, and it's some like trying to extract that story out. What are some of the keys if you were like to talk to a local brother, right? And you're like, hey, look, you got to work, because sales is the first thing. Yeah. Without sales, you don't got nothing. Yeah. You got a great idea, great. If you can't sell it, no business. Yeah. You feel me? Yeah. What would you say is the keys to being a great salesperson? Because one of the keys, I think, I'm just saying this, is not forcing it. I hate people that like the hard sell, and you're just like, I'm done, bro. You're wasting your energy. Like, we're just not the right fit. I'm not gonna dunk. Stop selling me shoes that I could dunk. I'm Korean, dude. I'm not gonna dunk.
Listen, there is a ton of best practices, books, tips. I mean, even with all of the medias now, which I didn't have when I was starting at 15, 16, started earlier. But I'll tell one thing, and maybe we'll do a part 2 of some best practices. One thing is internal confidence. And I think that goes with everything. Your episode, your career, what you do with your business is that personal, and we talked about it, is that personal growth and confidence first. If you can really not fix, if you could strengthen the man, I could work with that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If your mind, your body, your physically too, because that counts. If you're kind of sound and you believe in yourself, I remember you saying that as well. Then you get a coach, then you get a mentor, and then you start reading books, and then you start getting on some video, and then you start role playing, and then you start understanding your product. Like all of that is after.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because that's more technical.
It's good.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's just like if you're a receiver, or I don't even want to speak on that, or just any craft, you got to start as a base. And if you're coming in weak, and we all have insecurities, but I'm talking about there's got to be a baseline of that. I want something, I may be scared, but because I still want it, I'm going to overcome it, and that's courage, right? So you don't got to be, you don't got to be great or anything, but you just got to have courage to know that, damn, my dreams are bigger than this, my stutter,
Right.
or the way that I look, or the way that my past was. And I deal with that all the time still.
So you're basically, your goal has got to be bigger than your limitations.
Always.
100%.
Always.
Oh,
Wow.
bro, because you're right. Like without vision, you're aimlessly moving, right? But when you have vision, I think that's an important thing on sales, right? It's to, like, I love what you said. It's like
Not just a vision, a clear vision.
clear vision,
Right? A clear understanding of what you're
What are you trying to
selling.
accomplish?
What are you doing? Like, so it's the confidence comes with preparation. Right?
Yeah,
If you feel you're prepared, you're confident.
So as a receiver too, just throwing this out there, right? Like football analogy, right? But like if you read the playbook and you are in sync with your quarterback, you're gonna visualize the route before it even happens.
Yeah, but it's even deeper. It's like you're gonna know the play, but do you know the coverage? Right? Do you know what the defense is doing? Do you know what this guy's gonna do when they shift? Or you have to have all of that knowledge and happening on the fly, and you have to have repped it. Right, so when you get those reps, so as you're talking about role playing is getting reps, right? So you gotta have the education. You gotta prepare, knowing your product, knowing what you're doing, and then you have to practice, practice. Don't just jump in the game, because if you just jump in the game unprepared, of course you're gonna be nervous, and then the customer, man, this person don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, they're new. I can tell. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
So you have to have everything prepared. You have to have the confidence so that when you do, and the reps, so that when you do step into the game, it's just like practice. Yeah. And you can't even tell the difference.
Let
right?
me ask you this: do you, in addition to that, do you play through so many? Because our minds.
Are we talking about visualization?
Yeah.
All day.
All day, right?
All
okay.
day. I saw myself doing this play before I even did it.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
Many a times.
Yeah. In
I've
different
actually
ways,
dreamt.
different.
I've actually dreamt it. I've thought about it so much. I've dreamt it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do that for everything.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna even lie. I even had a dream last night about podcasts. This is my first podcast.
Really?
This is my first time, and we've talked about it a lot and getting busy, but this is my first time. But this is maybe a little off course, but it was with Jim Carrey, three other random people, and myself, and we're around the table, and it was just weird. But not that I was already visualizing before I went to sleep. I was visualizing when I'm driving, thinking about a lot of things, because you can think about 1,000 things in like 0.001 second, right? But when I'm going through a meeting to our team, or a meeting with a new client, or a partner, or a vendor, or whatnot, like I'm constantly just playing out what can happen on that call.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is my goal on that call? How can I bring value to this person on this call? What if it goes south? What can we do? Like, it's just constantly working. And
That's the competitor, bro. Like that's the wanting to be great. If you didn't want to be great, you're not having those visualizations. You're not thinking about how to be perfect in that moment. How to face adversity. You're not thinking about that. But because you're so competitive and you want to win, the determination, the drive to win is what's sparking that thing, in the brain that keeps you up at night.
Yo, so I'd love to double click on that. 'Cause it is funny because you're wearing a dreamer hat, and I love. And you just talked about these.
Okay, Daniel.
Right? I'm a dreamer. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one of my strongest characteristics is like I dream, and then I see what it could be in my head, and then I got to just work backwards and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to point this one thing. Have you guys heard of this thing about like practicing free throws? Like there's
when you actually physically shoot it and you actually mentally just take the shots, right?
Yeah,
Without even
so they
I've
did
heard
a test
that.
or something, right? And it was like they had one guy, and he physically practiced. I'm butchering the number, but he physically practiced like 100 shots, right? And then they did his, his free throw percentage. And then you had another guy that literally like, dreamed it, closed his eyes, and he didn't practice the shit. He just like visualized himself taking each shot. And I guess when they did the test with the two individuals, it was like almost the same.
Yeah.
But the one that didn't practice, either way, like physically or mentally, their score
they're not even close.
That was like not even close. But it shows how powerful the mind is. You know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of people understand. Like, it's like, there's that like I think therefore I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where attention goes, energy flows, right? Like if you start thinking about negative things, you put yourself around negative things. I think we talked about that on another podcast, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yo, put yourself around good company.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Why? Because those people that you're surrounded with are going to affect your mind, right? And the way that you think, that's going to dictate everything else, how you speak and the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I said on another, with another group, I was like, my mom used to say this. My mom's Korean, right? She used to say, two biggest things that she gave me. She's like, Daniel, stop trying to dig up 50 different wells, like oil, right? It's like, go for one and dig that and get it. People always just dig 50 different wells. You're not going to get anything there.
Right,
like even in
right.
sales, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do that. But, at a certain point, you're like,
You got to narrow the focus.
But the focus comes because you see it. Like, I know that well is going to bear fruit. That oil is going to come out of there, right? So that was one thing that I got from her that was like, yo, like, and she did sales. And it was like, instead of trying to focus on 20, 50 different things, hey, do few. Like the mammalian approach, right? Reptilian is have 1,000 babies and like maybe 3 survive, right? Mammalian is like have 3 babies and 3 survive. But you're like putting all your energy into those 3. So that's one. The second one, and she said, I carry this forever. I'm like, she said, be careful what you hear, because what you hear become your thoughts. Be careful your thoughts, because your thoughts become your words. Careful of your words, because your words become your actions. And be careful of your actions, because your actions become your character. So it's almost like a derivative, like the things that you hear or put yourself around will actually become who you are and what character you want to be. And that's why I think it's really important. Like Chad, you've talked about this, like being around the right people and being around the influence to emulate those things. But going back to Dreamer, right? It's like, what are you around that are affecting your dreams? And like, what are you dreaming? You know what I'm saying? So I would just love to like just double,
No, that's huge because it could be the lack of too. So just as powerful as you saying that, going towards your dreams, the lack of can put you in a really tough spot. And I'll be real, like coming here, there was a lack of, because we're new, we're getting settled in town.
Right.
We don't know, we know some people, but they got families, they got their lives, and still building a business and through the day and being in a condo because we're remote. And I've told this to numerous people, and shout out to Kern. I wouldn't have met Daniel, Kim, or you, Pono, or you now, CO2, if it wasn't for Kern. And but that was part of getting out. I had to really I put myself in a deficit because I wasn't dreaming as big. I was just going through the motions. I don't know if you guys have ever just gone through the motions sometimes and you didn't realize how deep you're putting yourself in a deficit. It was like, or if you go on vacation, you just slack off on your your nutrition and working out, and you come back and need a week to recover. Like, it was really, for me, it was tough. And I thank God that I think 6 to 8 weeks ago is when I was like, whoa, it just hit me. I need to get out and inspire collective in that golf tournament. I really wanted to just golf and then hopefully meet some people. And then here I am now. And we found a church that we love because we've always wanted to be part of a good church. So anyways, I just wanted to point out like the lack of, even when you don't feel like it, even when you feel like maybe they won't accept me, maybe I won't fit in, maybe like all of that is just noise to keep you down. That's like the devil just trying to like get in your, he just wants you to be complacent and neutral and wants you to slip up. You know what I mean? Like that's how I felt. I was like, I'm in paradise right now, but dude, I'm going through it. I underestimated the move.
Right.
And how important it is to still be on my P's and Q's and still get around guys like you. Like, I'm very thankful and humbled. I even told Daniel when he asked me a couple times. The first time I was like, maybe he won't ask me again to get on the podcast, just that initial reaction, which is crazy because that's not me.
Yeah.
But very, very thankful to be humbled and humbled to be around men of strength, men of faith, men that are like going somewhere.
Right.
You gotta put yourself around that, men or women. So, anyways,
That's good. I think like a lot of people watching the pod might be like kind of, kind of like you, how you were, right? They strong, strong men, like alpha. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of guys are going through life like trying to do it alone, trying to do it by themselves. How important is it for you, and maybe tell these guys, like the importance of community and getting yourself around like the right types of guys,
God knows what they're doing, because I feel like you're speaking into something I just came out of. Like, there's a purpose why I'm here, because I've never been in that deficit and that deep spot ever. And it is so important. You need to latch on. Man, you got to get your ego out. Lower all of that ego. Even if you're an introvert, I know it's hard. You need to be around other humans that will lift you. Like, you have to. And I'm a pretty confident dude. I think even in the last couple of years, if you ask Dale or anybody that knows me, maybe a little too much, in the past, overconfident. Maybe some people look at me as cocky or whatnot. And, for me not having the build or being tall or having it given to me, like, you got to have a statement, right? Even that, it will tear you down if you don't. It will tear you down. So, yes, it is. You got to have some form of community. You got to have some brothers with you or sisters with you. You got to find positive people when you're down. And I know it's hard, but, it was even sometimes you don't even want to bother people. Sometimes men look at that as weak, as like, no, I'm going through some stuff right now.
Right.
And I'm not feeling strong and I'm feeling weak. Or I never want to bother. My thing is I never wanted to bother people, because you're either building a business, you have your family life, you got your own stuff. Everybody's going through their own stuff.
Right.
If you think everybody's not going through something, you're wrong. They're going through their own stuff. But the people that care about you and love you will want to hear from you.
That's good.
And it just took me a little while. Especially when you move to paradise, no one wants to hear you cry at all. Like, oh, you're going through something?
Right.
Oh, you're having a hard time in Oahu right now.
Yeah.
Just saw you at the beach. No.
It's a Derrick. That was good,
I don't
bro.
know if that helps.
No, that's powerful, man.
So interesting thing, Pono, you got an agency also, right?
Yeah.
Like
yes, absolutely.
You do media production, and you've done these. You have clients and stuff, right? And Derrick, you've been doing this for like almost 10 years now, almost.
Well, for overlap, 9 years.
9 years,
Wow.
right?
Congrats, man.
And Pono, on Island too, there's probably a lot of aspiring photographers. I see a lot of people going into photography, videography. There's weddings and all these different things, right?
Yeah.
And there's like this massive competitive environment, right? Because everyone's trying to get their clients and stuff, right? I'm sure you experienced some of this stuff too, Derrick. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I thought like even just right here, right? Like, I'm sure you'd be curious, like, yo, Derrick, like, how did you break out into from getting ones and twosies to kind of getting into the millions in revenue? You know what I'm saying? But like, how did that like go from, like, was it you already walked into an environment that they were already crushing it, or like how? Because sales supercharge, yeah.
I don't want to overtake. I don't know if he was asking you or me.
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Well, one, we didn't walk into that because we're talking about two guys that's been in the agencies, that's worked with some agencies, had their own client size, and now they're going on their own. So it's not like they were given clients. They have a network, though. And I came in. I was already hustling deals on the side. I was always doing 2 or more things at once. But as I was at the corporate world, I was a year and a half before making the move and partnering with Dale and Eric, I was already testing the waters. So I was already using some of my connections and my Rolodex that I've built and like testing, okay, this is new solutions. How can I connect it with customers that I may know? We landed a pretty big deal, and I was like, oh, that took 3 meetings. Okay. Now, they're not all like that, but I saw something there. But starting, it was a grind. The first 2 years was a grind. Not only me, I had to learn and catch up on the digital space because that space was growing.
Can you walk through that? I'm sorry, I want to roll back. So you said a big deal, and what was it? Because you said,
So it was actually a hay company. So this is a hay company that do. Bro.
Could you clarify for people who don't live in the mainland? And
I'm sorry.
it's not hay. No, it's what's that?
Pono's like,
Hold up,
hey, bro, as much as you don't know Chamorro, hey, bro,
I don't know.
hay is.
If you don't know what hay is,
Pono said, hey, Or was it like a hey?
Yeah.
Like there's different.
Come on,
Hey.
Pono. What?
Yeah.
You gotta be specific when you throw that term.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
Hey.
in Arizona, there's a huge market for animals that eat hay, and there are different types of hay, and the
I had no
levels to
idea.
hay.
I don't know. I had no idea. Bro, wow.
Every time I hear
love
hay,
it. I love it.
I think of Bono.
Hey, I'm learning, man.
Yeah.
It's
No, this
all-
is good though, right? Because, dude, like, you know what? Different markets. Like, who would have thought there's a market
Right.
for selling dead grass? What is it? Dead wheat, dead grass? Like,
Yeah, it's just bells and bells of hay. So,
Yeah.
Dude, that's one thing too is when you're going door to door and you're in sales or you're just any type, you learn a lot of different stuff, like people and just
How do you
products.
sell
and, like,
hay?
Bro, I wish I would have gotten into that business. It's a lot. So, millions and millions. This is a family business. They own a lot of acres on the west side and whatnot. But they needed. Their problem was they needed to connect. They were doing everything in their books, like their books and their financials and their. If we talk about sales pipelines and funnels, and there's a platform for everything now.
Right.
They didn't have nothing. Right. You have to build something for that. This is years ago, decade or more ago. So. My current position couldn't supply. There was no vendors or anything in my current job, right?
right.
So I was like, oh, all right. Well, developer, engineer, we could create something with Dell and Eric on the side. And so I brought in Dell and we brokered a deal. We had some offshore developers in addition to ours because it was massive. It was big. This was like a $250,000 deal. That was huge for us,
Yeah.
That's still huge now, but that was huge back then for me to do that on the side. And so we just kind of brokered that deal. Obviously, we both had, I had a full-time job or whatnot. So that was enough that God gave me. And it was like, oh, what's the vision here? Because I already knew I wasn't being at a corporate, which is not bad. That was temporary. I was trying to align myself. What's my next move? I was always going to own another business.
So that wasn't even your thing.
That was my spark.
That wasn't even your thing, though. Like, you weren't, like, specializing in hay sales
No.
and doing digital solutions.
You have to learn to adapt though and understand.
That was part of your testing the waters.
Yeah.
And because you had your brothers in that business already, you brought them on board.
Right.
And that was kind of like your introduction to
Yeah.
joining the team, basically, right?
And
Just like when you walk into opportunities, I'm not going to say too much, but like you're looking for something. You're looking for something right now, right? When you're talking with Daniel Kim and whatnot, you're just figuring that out and you're like making connections. And that's kind of same thing here. Is like, I'm just solving a solution.
Right.
And that was a vision though of like, oh, that's what you guys could do.
But it was a $250,000 solution.
Yeah. We didn't really have to do anything. We just maintained. We got cut our check, and I was already figuring out what else do I got on my Rolodex. What else? So later down, they've already passed the 2-year mark. Like, kudos for them. They left. They bet on themselves. Debt-free company. They're doing well. They're paying themselves well. And I was like, I'm looking to do something. We did some stuff.
Right.
What's that looking like? So fast forward, we created a partnership. We got another developer, one of the best developers. We kind of like, we didn't poach him, but he came with Eric. They're good friends. So it was like four started in year 2 of the company. And that my job and my goal and my vision was scale, grow. Pound all of my customers, but at the same time, learn the business.
Right.
I did not grow up in the digital. I grew up with sales and marketing, 20 plus years, marketing and technology with Verizon and whatnot, but I had to catch up. So, and we were just like a creative in a dev shop, like really, really good at development. And now 9 years later, 12 people, got great vendors and partnerships. We built that from 4 to now a full digital service agency.
Right.
And just being a development company with a little bit of creative latched onto agencies.
Mm-hmm.
So to your point, had to hit up not only customers and cold call and go back to my old customers, but need to find out other partnerships and agencies and how we can help them. We were taking anything and everything.
I like that. So, like, because I do think that, sales is one of those parts of business that a lot of people, I'm going to be honest, they don't like doing. It's like public speaking, right? It's like they're just fearful to pick up the phone. They're fearful to go grab that lunch or dinner, right?
Yeah.
But when you overcome it, it's almost like certain things break out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, you kind of expressing like, hey, look, I identified a problem.
Yeah.
I leaned into it. I thought about the resources that I had. I made a test, and it turned into a $250,000 solution.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And how many times over and over have you done that now?
Oh, not that specific, but I mean, I'm very, very blessed and humbled to not only us three, then there's four, and then the rest of the team. I mean, 7-digit marketing agency that still, I mean, we built a debt-free, bootstrapped, and in Arizona, there is no one doing it like us that look like us. You know, we're not getting no handouts. We got to call for everything. We got to latch on to partnerships. We got to subcontract underneath another contractor. The relationships, going back to relationships, was everything.
Mm.
So preparation with timing is luck, you know? And so 9 years going strong with incredible people, with the culture that we have and working remote, that I can see, you know, we can even get into 10 digits with the people that we have now.
Right.
You know, because of the culture that when you're able to do that even remote, you don't got to go to the office and you're doing your work. No, these are craftsmanships.
That's awesome.
These are people that just know their stuff. So,
Now, how do you cultivate and build a culture like that? Because I think, you know, for us in our marketing, our content agency, you know, we work with a lot of, you know, C-suites. We work with a lot of other clientele and marketing directors and teams like that. And like the culture from every single different client and business is so different. And I don't think a lot of people kind of have that culture, kind of like yours, where like, man, like we can build a 10-figure business with the people we have right now. Like, you know, I see people subcontracting out and like people overlapping and trying to, you know, poach people from here and there. So how do you build a culture like in-house that can get you, I mean, vision-wise to those, you know, that 10-figure?
Well, I think, first overlap came from Dell and Eric when they were thinking about the business. They wanted a common word that was easy for people to know, but it meant also something deeper. And Dell and Eric, which we're all very similar, everything overlapped in not only business but in life. We all wanted, and we'll say them, they too wanted a legacy to live to their leave to their family. They wanted to build a business. They were entrepreneurs. They wanted to do it their way with their people. We wanted to give back and give opportunity to our people, right? They just everything in life. They wanted flexibility so they could have time with their family, but still build a business. Everything just overlapped, right? So from there, that was the foundation, is that you can't really build anything if you are not it, right? And it's short-lived if it's hard to just fake it all, you know, forever. So we built the business the way that we wanted to live, you know? We built a very hybrid where we're not going to be over your shoulders. We don't want to hire somebody that we have to micromanage. We want to hire people that are smarter than us. I always hire people or want people to work. I want to work with people that are way smarter than me. You know, I don't know. I know of SEO. I know some SEO. But I'm not the expert, and I shouldn't be. Right?
It's good.
I should not be.
I like that.
Shout out to Erin LeBeer. She leads our. She's our managing director and leads on all of our SEO, SEM, digital strategy and whatnot. She holds it down, and all I want to do is to create a great environment and a safe environment where they can flourish and be great.
That's awesome.
And then let me just be a co-pilot and just supply you with whatever you need. Even our developers, even our creatives, even business development. So I think those things is one, really identifying who you really are, just being real.
Yep.
You know, we never set up this business to be a big box agency of 50 to 100 staff to just exit. We didn't. We wanted to build this as a lifestyle business.
That's great.
That we love. We wanted to choose the clients that we want to work with. Now, in the beginning, you're going to have to take whatever you can.
Right.
There's going to be
Hey.
clients.
Hey. Gotta get
You gotta take that in. But we have turned away clients that were rude, that were disrespectful. That you ain't gonna talk to my people like that.
Yeah.
Because your money is not
Didn't
worth
pay
that
invoices
culture.
on time. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a money grab, and we're thankful to be in those type of positions, or even have the integrity for that.
It's good.
So I think it starts with just identifying who you really are, the founders. Us three, or three brothers. We all think we're all very different, but our core values and missions and the way that we want to work with our people are all the same. And then they filter themselves out. Like, honestly, after, like, if we do a contract to hire, after 4 or 6 weeks, like, you'll know our pace, our communication responsiveness, quality of work. Like, not even from us, the leaders, like, our people will let them know. It's
Right,
like,
right.
hey,
That's good.
kind of slumping over there. That's not how we roll. Like, you know.
I can relate to that, man. You know, culture in a business, or for my case, on a team, right, a football team, it was always top down, right? Owner, you know, president, GM, like it's top down, right? Head coach. And the saying was always, man, you know, we're gonna win, but we're gonna win with the right group of guys, that fit the culture.
Yeah.
We've cut star players on my team. I've seen the league leading running backs, right, because they didn't fit the culture.
That's a message.
So it's a message. So what you're saying is that it's almost like these people, they come in, okay, they almost cut themselves because they don't fit. They know the vibe. They don't fit. So I think for culture sort of develops itself once you have the top set and the core people on the team set. Any new additions, you know, if you don't pick it up and see it and be able to adapt and learn, then basically you'll cut yourself. You know, so I think culture is built from the top down and through your core sort of people on the team, and I can totally relate to that.
I'll add to that too is vulnerability, because we are not perfect.
Right.
Man, our team makes us better, even when we're maybe weak. You know, when we go through adversity, when us leaders don't know everything, we don't. If there's a leader out there that's going to say, no, I know everything and this is how it should be,
Yeah, they're not a good leader. Yeah.
I would tread lightly. We are very, very. I know I try to be, and when I'm figuring this out too, right? There's a balance. You can't be totally transparent. We're very transparent, but we got to be vulnerable. But we like to absorb some things because some things, the nature of business, they don't need. But they help us be better, bro. They're like, yo, I know it's tough right now, or I know this was tough. I got you. You know, they're willing to work overtime when they need to. Projects going really tough. We need to meet a deadline. Weekends,
Right.
like so they, dude, it's family. And I know that's so cliche because every company and you go to every website, we're family. No, like we literally would sit down and have some pupus and a beer with them.
Yeah.
We literally have
Somewhat in a what?
some pupus.
Pupus? Oh, that's great.
He just rolled with it quick. Hey, rolled with it. It's good.
Some, like we know their kids. We without
That's
no
awesome.
strings attached or agenda.
Yeah.
We want to hang out and we involve the families when we have a summer party or a Christmas party. Like it's deeper than that. We are not.
That's why you guys are successful, man. I'm telling you right there, because you care about them as people. When you're running a company and they're just workers to you, they're not gonna work as hard. They're not gonna do what you're saying that they're doing. You know, but when you care about their families, you care about them as people, you care about what their personal goals are, they'll go the extra mile for you. You know, and I think that's key.
Yeah. And
I
some,
love that.
some businessmen would say, and this there's no wrong or right. And again, I'm 40 or 9 years. I've always been in business since I was 16, still learning.
Yeah.
Some would say, that's cool and all. That's all lovey-dovey, but that's weak. And you ain't going to make a lot of money, you know, and that's fine. But I've come to the grips like I'm okay with that. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of comparisons in the past. I should be X amount of money. We should be making this and all that. Dude, that's when you really, I would say, just advice, don't do that.
And know your lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And double down on the confidence of your identity and what you know your mark is in your industry, right?
That's good.
And more isn't always better.
Yeah.
True.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Okay. The problem with a lot of people is that they're never content with.
Right.
They always want more. Are you happy? Okay. Why do you need more? You know?
Win is win. No
yeah.
win is win. You know what I mean? Like,
It's-
hey, this is it right here.
So and it's working for you guys. You know what I mean? So
But
I
hey, yo,
love it.
Derrick, man, really appreciate you hopping on the pod today. Hey, I love that you know, we're your first time being. You're a natural, bro. Like,
Yeah, bro.
you know what I
Can't
mean?
tell this is your first podcast, bro.
Hey, just edit that out, though.
Yeah. No, but you know what I mean? Like, one of the things that is special, I feel, about this particular episode is I do think locally sales is such a valuable skill set to acquire and to practice, and having the insight from someone like you that has figured out how to go from zero, actually your first deal being a $250,000 deal, right? And then just like kind of riding that wave.
Yeah.
But I thought there was a lot of nuggets and a lot of gems that you dropped. As we wrap this up, I always ask at the end, like any other, like it doesn't need to be business, it could be anything. Any golden nuggets that you have in your life that you just want to share with the audience before we wrap this up?
Oh man, yeah. I would say business, relationships. For me personally, just what I've been going through recently is God is real. You know what I mean? Your relationship to God and accepting Jesus as your Savior. And I know it's so, I don't want to say weird, guys, because I've always been around God. I was raised Catholic, was introduced to non-denominational Christian, accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior, even in my mid-20s and whatnot, but dipping in and out. I've never felt the presence and understood that relationship more than ever than this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he is real in your toughest times, like just recently, like he will have your back. And I know that sounds cliche maybe for some people that's not been around men like you or a church like Inspire, but that is really real, and I would investigate that and just educate a little bit and get around people that have that, and get around that positive energy. You honestly can really, really do anything that you want, get out of any situation that is negative. If you have that spiritually aligned in any degree possible, and then you just get around good people. You guys have lifted up my spirits. The last 6 to 8 weeks have been just a crazy turnaround in my life. And so I guess those two thoughts just kind of came to mind. And then everything else will follow. Everything, joy, hobbies, business, bodybuilding, golfing. I'm still going to get you, Daniel. We're going to get him, Pono. Daniel got me last time. I'm going to get him next time I'm around. But I really, truly believe all of those will follow. And I am no saint. I'm still going through my journey. But I understand that there is a lot of hope. And I'm in a way better positive mindset. So thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm very humbled to be, speaking with you guys. Hopefully.
Man, it was awesome, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Well, Derrick, appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
And, at the end of Shaka Tank, we like to just shaka out. So, hey, thanks for coming on.
Yes,
Shaka, Shaka out.
Hey.